Ba-da-da-da-da-da. What's up, Zozo? Had the day off, so I went to Patricia Island Golf Course and gave them some samples and gave them the sales pitch, and hopefully there'll be a new account soon. What's up, Tom? Hey, I get it, Zoe. I'm doing the same thing, even though I got to get out there and mow my yard. It's one of those things I've learned. When you do it for a living, you do not want to do it when you get home. It's kind of like the mechanic doesn't want to work on his own car. Well, the landscaper doesn't want to landscape his own house. That's all you do. But I'll get out there in a little bit. But I can't wait too long because we have a makeup softball game tonight. Because the field's been so wet. We got one tonight and tomorrow night. Hell yeah, it's splash pad, dude. That's great. They need to hurry up with um that new pool. But honestly, they need to get rid of everything on that south end of town. I mean, it's a floodplain. Why do you continue to use it? Tom, long time no see, brother. I haven't really been on the Discord in a while. It's been super busy, but I'll start making my way around. I miss talking to all you guys. That's for sure. But smoking me a little punch classico. Tiny little thing. I like punch cigars. A lot of people don't. They say they're too pungent, too earthy. Well, that's what I like. No, people got to understand where I grew up. You know, I used to have that chat in my mouth constantly. Oh, crap, Tom, you okay, brother? I hate to hear that. I hope you're doing okay. Yeah, I've never taken the kids to the one in Quapaw. Good. That's what I want to hear. Yeah, I just been out there trying to get those stogies. Um, Trying to get them out there. I got a lounge there in Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri. They're putting an order in today. I got a good order yesterday. Um, Trying to get that golf course on par. Because if we get into that golf course, we're the only cigar brand within that golf course. So that'll be an easy way to drive sales because there's no competition. And then you throw in, during the summer, they're going to have golf events, and I can go there and help, do a cigar event and drive people in, try to drive sales. And, you know, it's, uh, it's fun. I wish I could throw more time at it, but just being a rep for one brand at this time, it's just not sustainable just to try to rely on that. And that kind of sucks, but I'll get there. Um, that's the dream. I mean, if I could, obviously travel and sell cigars, you bet your sweet tender that's exactly what I do. I've gotten pretty good at it. It's just trying to, pitch the The cigar lounges around like Tulsa and Oklahoma City, a lot of them, they don't want boutique cigars. All they want is legacy. I get that. Legacy, they've proved, there's nothing left to prove. They've already got it. But they got to realize boutique, there are hidden gems out there for a fraction of the price. And sometimes those boutique blends can rival the legendary blends easily for sometimes a quarter of the price. And you can get the same experience. I guarantee you on some of these boutique brands, I put a boutique beside a legendary brand. Take the bands off. Take the bands off. You smoke one each day so you don't have a compromised palate. And you will not be able to define right off the bat which one was the legacy. You won't. I find a lot of the bigger legacy brands, they are good. But some of them are very linear. What's up, big dog? Have the day off, so I figured I'd get on here and chat for a little bit. Been out there slanging them stogies. But boutiques, man, boutiques are they're the future of the cigar industry. They have to be. The price per performance on most boutiques, you can't beat it. In my humidor, I have hundreds of cigars in there. That's what exactly. And they're like, whoa, I don't remember this being so good. Like, yeah. And it was $15 less. Out of all them cigars in my humidor, maybe 10 are legacy brands. And like I said, I have nothing against it. I just believe that boutique blends, the way they blend the cigars these days, they have the balls to think outside the box. It's not the same shit, different band. That's what a lot of legacy brands do. Same shit, different band. And it's just that to me that's what has to change in the cigar industry is the lounge owners have to be open-minded just a little bit because as David Garofalo has he put it, it's a triangle. Your 1%'s up here. 99's down here. Whoa, nobody wants to see that much head. Why the hell did it do that? I better back on up. My God. Y'all weren't ready for that. Jiminy Christmas. There we go. But anyway, whatever that was. There's a very select group of people that are going to go in there and buy boxes of Padron. Boxes of Davidoff. And out of that group, the majority are just going to buy a cigar at a time. All they care about, they're walking around a lounge. They want you to see the band. That's all it is. It's status. They're trying to show status. And then, 20 minutes later, you look at it and, the cigar's smoldering in the ashtray. They didn't even finish the cigar. They just wanted to walk around with, a $75, $80 cigar. And you're like, well, that's kind of dumb. For $80, I can buy like, what, 7 West Tampa Reds? you know, 4, 5, 6, 7 of anything out of the Big Sky catalog. Bamp. What's up, Black? No Family by Loyalty. HDA. And the list goes on and on and on and on. Because price tag does not indicate that it's a good cigar. 8 and $12 is the sweet spot, I think. If you can come out with a good boutique cigar, with a good story, with a good story and honest reviews, 8 to 12 bucks, you'll be successful. Nobody's going to spend $15, $16 on a cigar they've never heard of. They won't. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Even though 15, 16 bucks, it's not a lot for a cigar. It is when you've never heard of it. I buy cigars like that all the time just because I want to try something new, something different, get a different experience than what I'm used to. But some people aren't that open minded. And that sucks. Because there's a lot of hidden gems out there, especially in that $8 to $12 range. There's some cigars that will blow your mind. But people are like, nah, I don't want that. I don't want that. Well, more for me. I'm not going to argue it, but seeing the cigar industry from this side, it's opened my mind. Um, how n- unopen minded, if that's a word, the a lot of shop owners can be when it comes to trying to pitch them a new brand. It's like this little cigar right here, a little Punch Classico. It's by no means an excellent. It's not going to blow your mind. You're not going to taste, the whatever. But it's a decent cigar at an affordable price. You're not going to have a bad experience. And that's okay by me. I pick these up in a pinch. I like to smoke these outside, I like to smoke them in my shop. They're inexpensive. And they have pretty good tasting notes. You get some cedar, some cocoa, and stuff like that out of it. But if I'm outside working, I'm not always chasing those notes. And a lot of the times, to be honest, when I'm smoking cigars, I'm not chasing notes. If I can pick something up, I'm like, hell yeah. But I'm not focusing on it. And I don't pick up all the notes a lot of people pick up. I can pick up like, the dark chocolate or the cocoa or the cedar, the hay, the earth. But you got people out there like mint. I can't pick stuff like that up. Or bread. I mean, yeah, bread, it's a pretty easy one. But, some people out there, they're like, it's crazy. I'm like, how the hell do you taste a meatball out of a cigar? But hey, everybody's palate's different and it's all subjective. That's crazy, Black. But I don't know. It's just one of those things. Back to that golf course I'm trying to get Big Sky into. If I can get that, that's going to be huge. The Grand Lake area here in Oklahoma, in Grove, Oklahoma, is a wealthy. I guess you got to smoke some meatballs. Very wealthy, very wealthy place. Um, and they love their cigars. They stopped selling cigars temporarily a few months back because they redid their pro shop. But if I can get the cigars in, like I said, it's the only brand they're going to have which is going to help drive sales. Um, and people are going to understand Big Sky is a cigar you need to try. It's a brand you need to try. They have a cigar for every palate out there. You know, one of my favorite cigars by Big Sky isn't even one of the best sellers. My favorite cigar they have is the Madison. I absolutely love that cigar. And it's not even a top seller. I don't even think it's close. You know, the Cryptid, number one nationwide, followed by the Bitterroot and the Blackfoot, which the whole portfolio is great. You know, they all hit medium plus. You know, the Cryptid to some people can hit full. And it's just, and the aroma, especially off the new blonde minnow. When I was at PCA and people around me were smoking it, the natural sweet aroma from that little Salomon was wonderful. Yes, add it to the list. I promise you. And how I got affiliated with Big Sky is I had Brandon Marsh on the podcast, and I smoked a Cryptid during that time. And after talking to Brandon and smoking that cigar, I was just captivated. You know, the history of the company, not only because I'm big on construction. That's my number one thing on a cigar is how well is it constructed. I never touched it up. I had all the smoke I wanted. The smoke output, it's just however much you wanted to pull off the thing. It never cracked. It never canoed. It never tunneled. It was a great experience from light up to where I laid it to rest in my ashtray. A couple months go by. We're talking on social media here and there. And I just happened to ask, do you need a rep for my area? And he said, yeah. And boy, has it been a fun ride. Like I said, I'd like to throw more time at it, but I'll get there. And I'm always open to add to my brands that I rep. But Big Sky will always be my priority. Always be my priority. So if you know any boutique brands that need a little exposure, let me know. And I don't have to be the rep. I just wanted to just share and get the words out there, because our podcast, it's catching traction. More people need to subscribe, but our views are getting crazy. Our channel as a whole now is up at like 120, 150,000 views. And we've only been around for a year. And, we're kind of getting like a little cult following. And I love it. I love that you guys are here right now. I was going to get on here and be like, if nobody shows up in 10 minutes, I'm just going to shut it off. Right now, I got 7 viewers, people in the comments. And that's what it's about. I don't have to have 1,000 people watching me. I'd rather have 10 loyal people in here watching and commenting than have it, that's what matters to us. We're just a couple knuckleheads that like cigars. Well, love cigars. And we try to educate those, who need a little bit of help, And not only that, make you guys laugh and pull at your heartstrings, whatever, we're talking about at the time. It's all raw. Nothing's ever scripted. The only bit of editing I do is the intro and outro. It's raw. It's a raw podcast. I don't leave anything out. I don't edit anything out. I don't add, take away. It's as it's being recorded. That's exactly what you guys get. So I hope you guys enjoy the content. Um, you know, I haven't been on a few of our segments. I said I've been busy and tired. It's getting hot here in Oklahoma. Um, and I mow for a living, and it just beats the piss out of me. Um, but my work hours have changed. I go in a little earlier, but I get off a lot earlier. Um, so I'll be able to throw some more time at a lot of this stuff. But yeah, man, I got this for Father's Day. That Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. That is a very dangerous bourbon. As in, it is smooth, baby. It's good. I really liked that last night. I paired that with the Garofalo La Famiglia cigar. Beautiful pairing. Beautiful, beautiful. And if you don't know that cigar, here's the band. I can get it to focus. Go to Two Guys Cigars. Get you some of those. Or your brick and mortars may carry them. Great cigar. Very, very good. I had it in a Churchill, and it just kept delivering. It just kept on. And again, a lot of what you get out of your cigars is what you put in. I have not tried that yet, but I'm starting to get a little bit of a bourbon collection that I have behind me. I need to get some of that. To be perfectly honest, I don't know if I've drank Angel's Envy. I know I've most likely had it in a old fashioned, but I've never just had a neat glass of it to where I can, soak it all in. I've been big and doing, I wouldn't call it research because it's not, you know, rocket science. Um, but I've noticed that a lot of people still have questions on humidors and temperature and humidity. It fluctuate what you need to do with fluctuations. How do you season it? And it blows my mind that you can't get you can watch 100 videos on YouTube and 80 different people are going to tell you to do it 80 different ways. So here's what I came up with. Do whatever works for you. But I do know my number one rule is never wipe down the inside of a humidor. You are going to oversaturate that Spanish cedar. Just do the tub of distilled water. Let it get 5% over your desired humidity. Throw your desired Boveda pack in. Throw your cigars in. Leave it shut for a day, 2 days. Because cigars have to regulate. You have to give them time to acclimate to their surroundings. And if you can do that properly, because if you introduce too much humidity, your cigars are going to expand. They're leaves. You have too little, they're going to get dry and they're going to shrink, which puts the cigars ultimately in shock. But for me, for the need one up there, that's what I did. I used the included tub. I put in distilled water. I let it get 5% over my desired humidity. Put cigars in it, shut it. I've had it for over a year now and it's been perfect. The Zion behind me, it takes a gallon of distilled water. I like my cigars at 65% humidity, 70% or 70 degrees, which those two can regulate that. So I don't have to worry necessarily on, if it was a traditional cabinet humidor, my AC, my fan, is it too close to the door? Is it too close to the window? Which you have to factor all that in when you have a cabinet or wooden style humidor that you just rely on Bovida or a Cigar Oasis, which those things are great. Um, depending on where you live, I live in Oklahoma. Most of the year, it's fairly humid. But again, and it's still gonna affect mine, but it's not gonna be like it's going to with your traditional wooden humidors. And it's just there's so many different things and ways, and not only the humidors, but the benefits of a V cutter versus a guillotine or a punch cut. Um, each one of them have their own benefit. But again, there's been a lot of times I'll just bite the end off the damn cigar. The only drawback I see off any type of cutting is a punch because it concentrates your draw a little too much and you're going to get a tar buildup and it's going to get on your tongue and it tastes like you just licked the ashtray. But if you're a punch fan, I mean, I still use them from time to time, but if you're a punch fan, by all means, use it. That's the cool thing about cigars. There's really not a right or wrong way to do any of it, but there are guidelines. There are general guidelines, so because I do everything the way I want. I mean, I have 100 torch lighters. I just lit this cigar with the Bic. Um, I have every cutter under the sun, and like I said, sometimes I'll just peel the cap off. I'll bite it off if I'm outside or whatever. It's okay. This is all subjective. You do it the way you want to do it, regardless of what anybody has to say. There's not a right or wrong way to smoke a cigar. There are certain things you probably shouldn't do. But again, you bought it. You smoke it the way you want to smoke it. You know, I see a lot of people that'll just they'll light a perfectly good cigar and put it down in a pipe. If you're nubbing it, I can see it. But I mean, there's people putting a Toro in a pipe. Like, dude, you're gonna burn your eyebrow off. Like what in the? But hey, you do you. Excuse me, I gotta answer this message. So 4 to 5 boxes and all 5 boxes. Do they have any idea? Quantity issues. It's like right there. out of no reason, I just inhaled this cigar. Why? Why'd I do that? But like I said, I was just only going to get on here for about 30, 45 minutes, just see what's going on, talk to y'all. Hey, I appreciate each and every one of you. This is what I'm talking about. Thank you all for showing up, talking, whatever. We got some good stuff lined up still. We keep a lot of our stuff under wraps. There's still going to be that giveaway at 500 subs. And many other things that's going to pop up. You never know what we're going to do. You never know what we're going to do. We like to try to keep it fresh. We like to talk about, different topics because we know and understand that this is at this point a very oversaturated market. So we try to differentiate ourselves. But we also noticed we get more views when it's just us than we do with most guests. And and we only want to bring guests on that we think is going to be intriguing for everybody. And it's not always just going to be cigar smokers, cigar company owners and stuff like that. Because yes, this is primarily a cigar podcast, but it doesn't always have to be about cigars. And it's just the way that's just the way we want to do it, because you can only ingest so much cigar content. You can only ask so many questions until everything starts getting repetitive. So if you know anybody out there that has a up and coming boutique brand that wants to be on the podcast, by all means, send them our way. Hell, either one of you that's on here talking to me, if you want to be on the podcast, dude, we'll set up a sip and smoke episode. We'll have fun. You don't have to be, a cigar god to be on our podcast. You just, you just got to be you. And we're just like you. We're no one special. But anyways, I think I'm going to tap out. And again, I want to thank everybody for being here. And I am going to hit this on my way out. Thank you, David Garofalo, for doing this for me.
This is David Garofalo of the Cigar Authority, and you're listening to the Leaf and Ash podcast, the cigar podcast that I listen to.
Y'all be good. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.